Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to just have a little bit of a conversation about the breaking the loop. So breaking the thought loop or the procrastination loop. And this is a thing that I believe that everybody does from time to time, some more than others. I for one do it quite a lot and I ruminate quite a lot. So I wanted to have a quick conversation about this, why we do it, and perhaps what you could do to break it. The thought loop, what is the thought loop? For me, is when you find yourself going off on a tangent on your own. So this can quite often be when you've got something going on in your life which isn't quite how you want it to be. This could be a relationship thing, maybe you're going through a breakup with a relationship. It could be a work-related thing, or a finance thing, or a neighbour's thing, or a parent's thing, or it could be a million one things, but something doesn't happen the way you want it to happen. And then what tends to happen from that is you have these conversations in your head that go round and round and round, and then suddenly you find yourself talking to the wall, having a full-blown argument about what you would say when this person walked into it. I'd say this, but I'd have a go and I'd say, how dare you? And you have this dramatic thing in your head. We've all been there, haven't we, where it's like a movie in your head and suddenly you've got this whole big speech planned out. And it comes down to the reality of it, when you go back into work or you go and meet that person you like, it's like, hey, yeah, right, yeah, good. So why do we do it? Well, I think that first of all, it's worth saying before why we do it. It's really not healthy. Being in your head all the time in a negative experience really isn't the best thing to do. It can actually really turn into stress and anxiety, and also you're not in the moment. And we've all done the mindfulness, haven't we, where Eckhart Tolle and others say you've got to be in the present, and that's all great, but it's easier said than done, isn't it? So what examples do we have? There's plenty of examples. So obviously rumination and thought patterns aren't great, but there's also other things that actually you can break the loop of as well. So this could be compulsive behavior, really, and I'm not a qualified or any stretch of the imagination, but compulsive behavior could be the rumination, but also it could be other things like going on your phone. That can be sort of like a loop that you constantly do. It could be going on the internet, it could be watching porn, it could be going shopping, it could be anything, watching the TV, suddenly you're on the couch and it's like 2 hours down the line, you've done nothing all day on your Saturday or your Sunday. And it's all about compulsive behavior. What I would say, this is only my opinion obviously, but what I would look at is what are you trying to avoid? Because all these things are designed really to get you out of the moment and make you a little less uncomfortable. So the first thing I would say is, what triggered that behavior? What triggered that thought, rumination, that conversation you had? Was it work? Was it a friend? Was it a neighbor? Was it a relationship? What is it that actually triggered that situation? Because that's the first thing you need to look at. It could be something that then they could either change, flip on its head, being positive about the situation, or maybe it's one of those things that you could then look at and journal and write down. So say for example it is a work situation where you are annoyed with such a person in work, or you're annoyed with a certain project or whatever it is. You could flip it onto terms of like, well, maybe I have a really nice positive interaction with that person and start thinking positively. Or maybe you could go to the crux of the matter is, or what the crux of the matter is I should say, which could be the fact that you just don't like authority. Maybe that's it. Maybe you don't like change. Maybe that's it. Maybe you just don't like someone telling you what to do. That's probably the crux of the matter. And then that becomes a bit of an inward conversation, not necessarily ruminating, but actually, why don't I like authority? Why don't I like change? What am I scared of? Maybe it's on me, and take responsibility for it. Also, another scale of thought is, why are you doing those other activities I mentioned? So why are you on the internet? Why are you on the phone? Why are you browsing things you shouldn't be browsing? Why are you going shopping? Why are you avoiding what you're trying to avoid? Why are you procrastinating? Again, it could be down to making yourself feel comfortable. It could be a comfort thing. When you were a child, you had a comfort blanket, or you sucked your thumb, or whatever it may be. But there are reasons why you do this compulsive behavior. There are reasons why you have these compulsive thoughts, these ruminating thoughts. And they're down to distraction and getting you out of what actually you need to look and face. And the hardest thing really is what they call shadow work, which is a bit of a mindfulness term, but essentially it's looking inwardly at your own faults and resolving them best you can. That's easier said than done, because it's quite hard to look at your own faults. It's quite hard to look at things that you're weak at and admit that perhaps it's on you that you're not doing what you should be doing, you're avoiding what you're doing, you're procrastinating, or you're having these thoughts patterns. It's the hardest thing to do, but also in the long term it's the best thing to do, and you're taking responsibility for your own actions then. It could be the fact that your boss is an idiot. It could be the fact that your partner doesn't, you don't in love anymore. It could be the fact that your neighbour is an absolute moron. It could be down to those things. But as long as you know it's not you, as long as you're aware of the fact that actually what it comes down to is not you avoiding the situation. What things could you be doing apart from looking inwardly as well? Well, one of the things you can also avoid is actually doing what you're supposed to be doing that day. So one of the things that's helped me quite a lot is actually setting out the day as if it was a working day. So one of the things, you're on the telly and you're sitting on the couch watching the telly, or you're on your phone and you're wasting your time and you're avoiding doing what you should be doing. That could be chores, that could be going to the gym, that could be meditating, it could be whatever it could be, ringing someone up. Actually plan out your day properly. So by that I mean as if it was a working day. So when if you work in an office, for example, you may understand what I'm talking about. It could be the fact you get up, you go to work, you're in work for 9 o'clock, and you have a meeting at 9:30, you have another meeting at 11 o'clock, you do this bit of work from 11 till 12, you have your lunch, and then you have it all planned out. Your day pretty much is planned out in terms of meetings. Things come in, that's granted, that's just life, but you plan it out. So why don't you plan out your normal day like that? Get up at 7 o'clock, perhaps you do a workout at 7 o'clock, or you meditate, or you clean the house, and then you go and have your breakfast, and then you have a cup of coffee, then you go for a walk, and then you do your bit of writing or your journaling, whatever it is that you do. Plan it out as if it is actually a normal working day, but instead of having work stuff in there, you have things that you want to do, productive things in those days, as well as the rumination techniques about flipping it on its head and trying to think positively. Actually give yourself other things to do and actually plan it out as strict as possible. Make sure you can achieve stuff through the day. That'll help you, especially if you're feeling a bit down about, oh my goodness me, I spent all day on the couch today, I wasted the day. Well, actually, if you've done something, if you plan it out, you can actually achieve more. That may help you as well. Lastly, the thing that I think most important of all with all of this, be kind to yourself. Sometimes you can get yourself annoyed when you catch yourself ruminating. You can become annoyed with yourself when you catch yourself going on the internet for hours and then going on your phone for hours and then, and you think, oh goodness me, I got lost all day today in stuff that wasn't productive. Well, you know what, that happens. So perhaps you need to plan it out, be patient with yourself, realize that you can't change a habit of a lifetime in a matter of a day or two. It's going to take time, but being kind to yourself and giving yourself enough time and patience to do these things and to make a difference one step at a time is always going to be beneficial. It's like going to the gym or getting fit. You can't go out and run a marathon straight away. You've got to be able to run around the block once, then you run around the block twice, then you run around 3 times, and then you maybe go on a 5k, and then a 10k, and then you build up. It takes a long period of time for your body to change, and it's the same with breaking the loop. It's going to take a while for your mind to change. It all boils down to being kind to yourself, being hard and kind to yourself, but I mean by self-discipline, breaking that loop, recognizing that you've done it, recognizing that you've done it, and you're going to make a difference in terms of like changing your thought patterns and planning out your day and giving yourself to do and being productive each day. Anyway, I hope that helped. If you did agree what I have to say, or you don't agree and got other ideas, then please comment below, like and subscribe and share. And thanks for tuning in. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.